Do you believe all debt is created equal? If you've heard things like rich people use debt as leverage, but when poor people use it, it's bad. Well, I want to be clear that is not about who's using the debt, it's about how they're using it. And I want to break down in this video so that you can understand the different types of debt and the types that can help you move forward and create more income and wealth. So, we're going to break it down in today's video. If you're new to me, my name is Tashieka Ma'at. I'm a financial coach and the founder of John Wealth Financial, and I help you keep more cash in your pocket so you can position it to wealth and create a life of freedom and ease. And as I've stated before, it's not about who's using the debt, but how they're using it. And I want to talk specifically about consumer debt versus business debt. So I know when you hear consumer debt, it's things like credit cards, debt that's used for vacation. Maybe you use debt to purchase a car, although with those, many people may say that using debt to purchase a car is not a good investment because cars depreciate in value. If it's going to help your lifestyle, maybe allowing you to create more income for you, then it's a different story. But when we talk about consumer debt, think about consumer debt as a type of debt that is draining from your lifestyle, right? You are borrowing this debt, and a lot of times this debt includes high interest rates, depreciating items, and no return on your income. So, for example, think about it. If you decided, all right, I want to go on a trip, I'm going to take my credit card and I'm going to, put $5,000 on a trip to Bali. Okay. But when you come back, now you're saddled with having to now pay off that debt. You already had the fund. Now you have to come back and pay it off. And that's actually something that happened to me. I had taken a trip to South Africa, and while I didn't fully fund it with debt, part of it was cash, part of it was debt. I had to come back and now figure out, okay, how do I pay for this trip that I just had? Now, when you think about debt in that aspect, did that trip increase my income in any way? No. Did that trip provide any value other than a great experience that will allow me to elevate my finances? No. If the consumer debt, whether it's credit cards or things for your lifestyle expenses, are draining, and you know what I mean by draining, right? When you look at that debt and you are just overwhelmed because you're like, oh my gosh, now I got this monthly debt that I have to pay for. And on top of that, the interest they're charging me each month, it can create that feeling of overwhelm and frustration because you either have shame of the past expenses that you're now having to pay for. So when you think about debt from that perspective, that's the type of debt we don't want. Now, when we go back to how rich people are using debt, they are using debt as leverage to increase their income. If they're using that money to invest in their business so that they can expand or scale their business, they may invest in, say, a business coach or products to help their business grow even further. There is a return happening on that debt, right? I'm putting this money in with the expectation that I'm going to get a return. AKA, I borrowed $50,000 to open my business. My business now generates $200,000 a year. That debt is working for you. I also want to make sure that when we think about that, because I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm spending this on my business, so I'm expecting a return, but it does require you to have discernment on how you are getting into debt for your business. Because one thing that I want to highlight, especially for entrepreneurs who maybe in their personal finances are not in order, and then you decide to transition into entrepreneurship and you're managing your business finances in the same way that you're managing your personal finances, a lot of those habits and behaviors are going to be the same. So I want to highlight that when you are utilizing business debt, that you be mindful that you have a clear understanding on the ROI that you're going to get from the debt that you place when you're investing in your business. Because, great example, if you're a chronic, any new program or any new coaching offer that comes out, you're constantly jumping into each one of those offers, but you're not getting a return. You have to think, is this a good business investment if I've done this before, but yet I'm not seeing the return on it, right? So that requires you doing your due diligence, making sure that what you're investing in has the track record and the data to back up that, you putting in the work will get back that return on investment, right? So, why does it matter when you're looking at consumer debt versus business debt? One debt, consumer debt, limits your ability to have more freedom. Like, really think about that. If you are going on trips and you're using your credit card and you are constantly borrowing and then having to pay it back, it's going to limit your income and it's draining your income because of high interest debt. On the other side, when you think about the business debt, that expands your freedom. Why? Because it is creating new income streams for you. So when you are looking at, okay, I'm going to use this debt, I want you to think about, does this debt increase my income or is it taking away from my income? This is actually something that I'm having to do as I am fully into my business full time and I'm making decisions on what's going to actually help me move further within my business. I attended a presentation a couple weeks ago, and yes, the offer sounded really good. Everything was there, but I had to say to myself, okay, is this investment what you need right now in this moment at this stage in your business, and is it going to move the needle, right, to help you service more women and generate more income? And I actually declined the offer because where I am right now, it's like, okay, I'm already in my business, I'm building, it's like continue on that path, right? So it's really just having that discernment of how you're directing your debts or what you're doing with your debts and how that's going to come back to you in two folds, right? Rather than it leaking and draining from you. And I want to mention this because I was talking with someone and they had made a comment of like, oh, we're always going to have debt. I feel like this is a common topic, thinking we're always going to have debt. And I will say it really depends on how you're using it. If you're purchasing a home and you get like a 15-year or 30-year mortgage, then obviously, yes, you're going to have debt for that extended period of time. But when you have the mindset that, oh, we're always going to have debt, you are limiting yourself into thinking that almost as if you don't have any power, debt is normal and I'll always have debt. I'm not going to focus on freeing myself from it because it's normal. Well, let me tell you something. I don't believe in being normal. Okay. I don't believe in accepting things as they are, right? You can step outside the box, be different, and it's okay. Especially if being different is going to create more freedom in your life. So, what would you rather? Would you rather follow the crowd and be shackled by debt that is not serving you, that is draining you? Or would you rather step on the path where you're able to utilize that to expand your business and grow and increase your income, which will ultimately lead to more freedom, right? So it's a shift in how you're thinking about debt for yourself. And that's the key thing that I want you to understand. Okay. So one of the things you can do as you are managing your finances is doing an audit. Look at your overall debt. How much debt do you have? What is the interest rate on that debt? What is your monthly minimum obligation that you have to pay on that debt? And once you have a full picture of what's happening, you can then make the distinction of, is this debt draining from your current income? Or is this debt actually providing you with the ability to have new opportunities and new ways to build within your business? And that's an opportunity to look at how debt is serving you or detracting from you. And I don't like to look at debt as good or bad. It's more of, how is the debt serving you? Meaning, is it building and helping you to grow? When I started paying off debt, like debt to me was very overwhelming. It was almost like I couldn't breathe because I felt like all I was doing was working just to pay for this debt. Whereas in this realm now, utilizing debt for my business has helped me take leaps and bounds to get access to spaces and networks and things that I probably never would have had I not been able to invest in my business that will help my business grow. Right. So, as you are thinking about the overall debt and how you view debt, one thing that you can ask yourself, how is the debt you're carrying serving you? If it's not, how can you create a better system to free yourself from it so that you can get back that cash flow and position it in different avenues that's actually going to build more freedom for you, right? Because not all debt is the same. Yeah. Some is going to keep you stuck, and some will allow you to grow and build a better future. If you're watching this on the replay, drop in the comments and let me know what has been your mindset about debt and how have you used debt to expand your life or your business. And until my next video, here's to your financial freedom. Peace.